Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for June 16, 2022. The CEO creates toxic culture edition. And we begin with that story from the New York Times. You often hear about CEOs who create a culture of sell, 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 obviously based on Alec Baldwin and Glengarry Ross. But here we have the CEO of Kraken, one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, and has created a toxic and even hateful culture at his organization by questioning whether or not, challenging rather, the use of preferred pronouns, debating who can use racial slurs, and calling American women brainwashed. So really interesting when you have your CEO fostering a hateful workplace and intentionally damaging the mental health of employees. I suppose he's going to say, well, you can go work somewhere else. The problem with that is that's not the way things actually work. You're supposed to have a non-harassing, non-discriminatory workplace, and the libertarian philosophical values that we've seen by many entrepreneurs, particularly in Silicon Valley, really have no place in the modern workplace. Next up from the Wall Street Journal, FASB's attempt to put out new rules for accounting of goodwill and disclosing goodwill has been scrapped. The accounting standard setter said on Wednesday it would remove the project from its technical agenda, although it might return to it at some point. So we'd all been looking forward to that, and now that's off the table. Next up from The Guardian, an interesting article about state capture in the developing world and a claim that the West has really facilitated this through putting in policies and procedures which allow companies, banks, service providers to facilitate all of this. So corruption blights the developing world, but the U.S. and Europe are accomplices. And finally, we come to our good friend who has been with us many times on the Daily Compliance News, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is appealing his loss in the district court level against the ban by the SEC on his use of Twitter after his infamous 420 tweets from 2018. He still wants this ruling or this ban overturned, and now he's going to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. So we're going to see what the Second Circuit might say about this, and I'm sure, knowing it's Elon Musk, with all the time and the money in the world to spend on this, he'll go to the U.S. Supreme Court. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.